Hello, this is What's All About with another watch review, and in this review we're looking at another offering from Aquatico. This is the Bronze Sea Star. So I've reviewed a few Aquaticos before and they've always proved to be pretty good value for money. So let's start off with the unboxing process. We have our box, flops open like so. We have Aquatico printed at the top here, and obviously we have the watch itself. So on top of that we've got some extra pins, a little warranty card. And also we have, interestingly, which I have, I'm not quite sure why, but we've got a black Milanese strap, which I personally probably won't particularly go very well with a bronze watch, but never mind. So let's pop that to the side, and here we have the watch itself in question. Okay, so let me pop it on whilst we discuss some of the specs. So this is the Aquatico Bronze Sea Star. So the RRP of this, if you're going direct from Aquatico, is $299. So that equates to approximately £235. However, if you're based in the UK or Europe, you can actually get it at the moment from 00 Watches, who are a British company, and they're selling them for £240, which is really, really reasonable. Size-wise, 42mm diameter, a height of 12.5mm, and a lug-to-lug length of 49mm. So, you know, pretty straightforward set of dimensions for a diver. 42mm diameter, you know, is pretty much the standard that you'd come across. Fairly hefty weight of 106 grams, which is nice considering, you know, it's on a strap. Fairly weighty. Obviously, that's mainly because of the solid bronze case and the mechanical movement. 22mm lugs, lug width as well. So nice, decent width strap. And it's nicely in decent ratio from strap to the watch head itself. Good water resistance rating of 30 atmospheres or 300 meters, so you are really covered for any sort of watch, any sort of diving or any water related accidents, if you will, or anything like that. Bronze case though, so putting it in water will increase the speed of oxidization on the bronze. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's up to you to decide. 1 year warranty with this watch, and then the movement is the Seiko NH35, which is coming in, I've measured it, plus 9.6 seconds a day. So as you can see, we have a fairly smooth sweep. That's 21.6 thousand beats per hour, or 6 ticks a second. Other specs include 24 joules, 41 hour power reserve, hacking seconds hand wind, and automatic wind capabilities. So plus 9.6 seconds a day out is pretty good in my book. Anything around within 10 seconds out is, you know, is good. Really, that's what I aim for. So it's good that this Seiko will last for a while as well, because it is a very reliable, trustworthy movement that we see a lot. Okay, so let's discuss the elements in detail then, starting off with the dial. Give it a quick wipe. So the dial is has a nice brown. Well, it's available in 3 different colours. This is obviously the brown option, which I think suited the bronze case perfectly. As you can see, we'll skip straight to the sapphire crystal. Sapphire crystal is quite reflective. As you can see, we're getting lots of reflections here from the lights in this room I'm in. It is double domed, and it is really thick as well. As you can see from a tight angle, the double dome keeps it legible, but you can see the sort of partial distortion there because of how thick it is. So it is a real beast of a crystal. It's just a shame that it's not. It doesn't have a better anti-reflective coating, because it is quite difficult to photograph, and in this instance as well, you know, it's quite difficult to show you the dial in a nice clean manner because of the way it. You know, the reflections are quite strife really. So nice brown backdrop to the dial. I think that suits the bronze case really nicely, and also it works well with the leather strap. On top of that, we have the applied hour markers, and also the hands. They have a golden hue to the surround, which is nice, again color matching perfectly. I also like the usage of the white lume, because that matches the date window nicely. Everything ties together well, and the date window also has a gold finish border to it. So I really like the colour, like the gold bronzy colour coming through, and it works so well with the brown. Also on top of that, we have print work. So we've got Aquatico logo at the top, and then in the bottom half, automatic and the water resistance rating. They're in a very fine gold colour. So again, we've got that colour coming through, which is really, really nice. A lovely theme coming all the way through from the top, you know, even the buckle all the way through to the dial. So very nice colour scheme chosen. I like the snowflake hands as well. Nice to see them a little bit different to the usual. Very nice and bold, decent legibility. The loom is fairly average. I'll be showing you a video of the loom right now. It doesn't charge too quickly and it doesn't show up amazingly, but it's perfectly reasonable for what you're paying for. Okay, so moving on to the case then. Obviously, the main selling point of the entire watch is the fact that it is solid bronze. I really like the bezel as well, how the details are embossed, very neatly done. And you can see here, so I've had this watch for approximately just under 2 months, between the 1.5 months and 2 months. We can see we've got some really nice patinas starting to develop, sort of on the bezel and on the sides of the case, and indeed on the end of the crown as well. So obviously with bronze, it gradually develops patina, and then eventually when it gets too much, you can easily strip it back and start again. There's lots of different ways of doing that. A common way is just using some lemon water or maybe some Brasso to scrub it up and clean it up. So the bezel, yeah, really nice action as well. A little bit of black back play, as you can see, got a tiny bit of wobble there, but not too much. However, you know, the finishing is really good. The grip is great as well. However, really, this is the only criticism I have the entire watch, really, is that there is a tiny bit of play from the top to the bottom. So you can see there, I can push it down. There's a little bit of wiggle. It's only on the bottom, so on the top, there's a tiny bit on the top, a little bit less. However, you know, you don't come across that too often. So it's not necessarily a concern. It's just that there is a little bit of play there on the bezel, which, you know, you don't see too often, really. So apart from that, lovely bezel. Pretty standard barrel case. We have completely brushed finish, which is obviously very sensible for the sake of longevity. It will be hard wearing, and then we have drilled through lugs as well, so it is nice and easy to change straps if you want to. The crown, also brass. We have the Aquatico logo embossed on the end. Really nice grip. However, the only thing really is, I think from a design perspective, I feel the crown juts out a little bit too much. I think the ratio is a little bit out. I think it would have looked a lot classier, a lot nicer if it was maybe 1 or 2 mil, a little bit thinner. It wouldn't be quite as, it looks a bit like a sore ear at the moment sticking out. So I think that would have made it a little bit classier. However, you know, the construction of the crown is perfectly fine, no issues there whatsoever. Flipping it over, stainless steel case back. So it's stainless steel for a reason. If it was bronze, chances are it would seal together and then it would seal shut. You'd never be able to access the movement, which you don't want. So stainless steel, not an issue for me personally. Some people might have an issue with the fact that, you know, steel on a brass, it looks a bit weird, but to be honest, you never see the case back when you're wearing it. So to me, it's not an issue. We have this interesting drawing of a mermaid riding a dolphin, and artistically, it's a little bit crude. It's not the best drawn, personally, I don't think. However, you know, it's nicely done. And again, you know, you're never going to see it really. Details surrounding the outside, nicely, deeply engraved as well. Moving on to the strap. So lovely, lovely crazy horse leather. Really gentle, soft texture to the top. As you can see there, you know, it marks, which is part of its charm. You know, it gives it plenty of character. Really nice, thick quality though. I've been wearing this a lot. And usually I'd start expecting, I've been wearing it on this hole in particular, the second, got a 7¼ inch wrist approximately. Usually you'd start seeing quite a significant bit of dentage, but because it's so thick, such good quality, it's, you know, you barely see anything. So that's a good sign for how well it will last as well. I do like also the light stitching. Again, works really well moving into the dial with the lighter bronze colour and the hour markers, etc., etc. So lovely bit of design there. And we also have a very, very gentle channel down the very outside edge as well. So something you may not necessarily notice, but a nice bit of detailing there. Flipping it over to the top, we have our keeper loops, nice and thick, very easy to use, keeps the strap in place, and a lovely bronze, solid bronze buckle as well. Very angular, quite square, nice flat angled top, and the Aquatico logo. It's a shame this is only laser etched rather than engraved, because I think as patina starts to set in, you might lose some definition on the text of the logo. So it's a shame that it's not engraved. However, you know, it's perfectly readable, and it's a really nice buckle to use as well. Really chunky and quite aggressive. Okay, let's get the macro lens on and have a look at it in much closer detail. Starting off with the dial then. So here we have some of the hour markers. As you can see, we have the sort of a brushed bronzy gold surround to them, and then the loomed center. And then that matches the hands as well. As you can see, we've got a sort of brushed bronze surround to them with the loomed center. Here's our running seconds hand as well. Our print work, gold against the textured brown backdrop. And then moving over to our date as well. So it's gold rather than a bronzy kind of colour, but it's, although it doesn't match, you don't notice it. And then a white date wheel as well, which is most definitely the stock movement date wheel. And then a very subtle minute track around the outside, again in the gold print work. So very nicely all tied together. Moving on to the bezel, here we have our various embossed bits of detailing. All very nicely done, no issues whatsoever. And a loom pip within the triangle at 12. Again, very neatly done. Moving to the side, here's some of our grip of the bezel, and if I give it a push, you can see there we have got that little bit of wiggle. And interestingly, we've got a nice little serial number printed in between the bottom lugs as well. So moving on to the side, good definition on the case, as you can see there, pretty sharp angles and very neatly drilled lug. Moving over to the other side, here's our crown with our Aquatico logo embossed on the end. Nice little angled tip there with our grip on the side, again very neatly done. And if we just flip it over, we can see our mermaid. As I mentioned before, a little bit crude in terms of design, but nicely executed, as you can see. And then we've got some various specifics engraved around the outside. Aquatico, there we go. So moving on to the leather strap. Very nice, soft top, as you can see, decent grain. There's our slight channel down the side, and then our lighter stitching. Again, very thick, reassuring stitching. And then if we just flip it over, we've got sort of like a black sealed back, which is very comfortable on the wrist. And then finally, if we have a look at our buckle, so there's the logo, as you can see, just laser etched rather than engraved, which is one of the bits which is a bit of a shame to see. However, you know, it's just one of those things. And we've got fairly decent angular style, with a very, very curvaceous tongue as well. Okay. So I really, really like the Aquatico Brass Sea Star. I think for the price, you know, it's perfectly reasonable price. Really, there's a few things, probably three things to be aware of. First of all, the reflective crystal. I mean, when you're wearing it daily, it's not that big an issue. It's just something that when you're recording it, when you're trying to take pictures of it, it is very difficult to get a decent shot, as I'm sure you can tell. Secondly, it's a shame that the logo on Aquatico is not engraved, but rather just laser etched. And then thirdly, just this is a very minor thing, personal preference, the crown could do with being a little bit thinner. Apart from that, excellent watch. Oh yeah, and of course the tiny bit of play on the bezel. Apart from that, a really lovely watch. I think it looks great. The color scheme throughout is perfect. You know, it's really nice to have something different to the usual brown or black or blue. So really using the bronze and then the brown alongside it really works to its strength, and it creates something very striking and very, very eye-catching as well. I'm sure you'll agree. But just, you know, the bezel works so well with the dial as well. It just looks great, and it's so well embossed with these detailings. So very lovely watch. I think for the price, £235, you can't complain. With those minor issues, I think you're getting a hell of a lot of watch for the money still, because at the end of the day, it is very, very well spec'd, decent movement, you know, solid bronze at the end of the day, lovely leather strap as well, good water resistance. So yeah, I really, really like it, and I think it will be a very, very successful watch for them. And if you buy it, then I'm sure you'll be happy with it as well. So this was the Aquatico Bronze Sea Star. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.